Hi, I'm Corey Rambout, and my project was consistency between home and school for children diagnosed with autism. Autism spectrum disorder, also known as ASD, is a condition connected to the brain's development that affects a person's ability to socially interact and communicate with others. Some of the definitions I will be using and I used in my paper was AAC, augmentative and alternative communication, which is more technology based, PECS, which is picture exchange communication systems, that is more hard copy or book form. It can be on the form of a tablet. DSS, which is Department of Social Services, that is an agency that will help anybody with a disability. MRI and CAT scan are both terms that I had used in my lit review that I handed in with my final paper. So there are many children every year that are diagnosed with ASD. There are many interventions and technologies that will help children to learn to communicate. AAC and PECS are the two most common. With AAC, you can use Proloquo to Go. That is a great app to help kids speak and communicate their wants and their needs. So, going back to basics, many families are unaware of the resources that they can receive once their child is first diagnosed with autism. My project would involve a 6-week community-based curriculum to find out how many families have access to the same devices that their child is using in school. During these 6 weeks, I would encourage families to start applying for Medicaid, which Medicaid would be a supplemental insurance for them, so that if their own insurance did not cover the technology needed for their children to communicate, Medicaid usually picks up the cost. So some of the discussion topics we would talk about would be the process of applying for a communication device, explaining the difference between DSS and Social Security. They both are departments that will help somebody with a disability or families with a disability. We talk about the benefits of using the same communication devices as home and school. If you use the same communication device, it's less stressful to communicate with your child. And then the difference between AAC and PECS, and we would go through the different types of AAC and the different types of PECS communication interventions. I would show evidence-based information on the effectiveness of the two interventions, and then we would go over what the children are using in school and teach the parents how to use these devices at home. And then I also incorporated the Common Core standards that align with communication. The standards that I put in there, the first one basically talks about coming to discussions prepared. That's more for like if you have like a family dinner, they can participate in the discussion and the parents can correlate what they're learning to why this is helpful for their child and family of the importance of communication. Um, the second one followed agreed upon rules that would be more for like also family discussions at home, how a child can gain the floor respectfully. This would work also for a child that has friends at home that come over because with autism, social skills are very difficult for children diagnosed with autism. Um, the third one, explaining their own ideas. This would definitely help with trying to get their feelings across any way that they can, but also still being respectful. So these three definitely go together. And then the last one, speaking in complete sentences. If they're using an AAC device, that would be a little bit easier for it to, because AAC devices will output speech for the child. They just have to click on the order that they would need to, but this again would be advanced for somebody that is just diagnosed with autism. It would definitely take time to get to that point. My assessment and evaluations. So I would keep a running record of the child and the family, and autism is such an individuality based disability that it would really depend on the family and their needs as to how we could tweak the program or um, figure out what we would need to add or take out, or what we even would need to concentrate a little bit more on so that the families could get the best out of this program. We would have weekly check-ins to discuss things that may or may not be working for the family. There will be a survey at the beginning and the end. And then my conclusion, um, some families were using multiple interventions. One of the families I had read about in the lit review, they were using 47 different communication interventions with their child. That is a lot. And it made complete sense why the parents were feeling like everything was spinning out of control. They could not understand what their child wanted or needed, and it put a lot more stress on the family. So it's best to stick to one or two. And if you keep that consistent throughout the school day, and then you're able to keep that consistency at home, it just betters the child and them learning how to communicate. Many of the schools in my area, the 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 students are not allowed to take their devices home because it was something that the school had purchased. So the point of this would give the parents and families the knowledge of gaining the resources they would need so that they could keep the tablet or Chromebook or communication device at home. Um, this would be like telling a child that you can use your voice at school, but once you leave school, you can't talk at all. And this would help alleviate a lot of that confusion. And then my resources. Thank you for watching.